I hope you're all well. So I'm going to do some readings for the month, and I know it's a little bit late. It's what is it today? 12th, 13th, I think. But we have got an eclipse coming up on Monday and Tuesday. Excuse me. And so even though it's, not the beginning of July, it's really important time. So I do think it will be valuable to have some information, around what's going on, even though it's not, beginning of July. So I was shuffling and I had the Knight of Cups jumping out, and this is all about love coming. So what we've basically got going on with this eclipse is we've got clarity surrounding love. Now that can come in many different ways. So it's not just, we're not saying, oh, you're going to get someone coming towards you necessarily that's going to be asking you out on a date, or although that could happen, or offering you love. It's more about you receiving an understanding of maybe how much you love, what love is, clarity around emotional issues in people that you love, and how that affects you as well. So reciprocal. Energetic demands, when you've got like issues, emotional issues, especially when it's coming through a family, it is reciprocal clearing that you're doing. So it's all about the connection itself, even if there's emotional issues, like say there's some kind of narcissism, because there's all different types of narcissism. Some are more harmful than others. Malignant narcissism is really dangerous. That's where people are vindictive and spiteful and cruel. But you can get all different types, cerebral narcissism, where people just have to always be right, and they're not, as harmful, this kind of thing. So it's all about, you would draw it all to you, in your family unit to clear it, basically. So whatever crops up in that respect. In the end, it comes down to love, and that's not saying you should have people around you if they've got issues that are detrimental to your own well-being, but it is a clarity of understanding that you can love despite any issues that are there, because love is not an enmeshment where you have to have somebody next to you or all the time, or even on the phone all the time, because some people with narcissism in their families, they fall into this pattern of, it's like you have to phone that parent every day. It's a duty and a responsibility, and that's actually the parent getting narcissistic supply through that, needing that, through putting you in that position where you have to do that every day for them. It's narcissistic supply. If it hurts you when you talk to them because they're taking that from you and they're making you feel ashamed, or some other kind of fight or flight response that they're garnering in you, which is where someone takes narcissistic supply, that's what they leave you with. It's something detrimental to your own well-being in terms of how you feel. Unless, of course, you're above it and you're looking in on it and you're aware of what's going on. But a lot of the times, you don't see that from a personal perspective because it's been ingrained within you from early childhood. So it takes a lot of self-awareness for you to come into a place where you're able to see from beyond that actually enmeshed perspective. So, but what I'm saying is this, with this moon that we've got a lot of clarity coming in around things like that. Clarity around love. And of course, a highest timeline of having a narcissistic connection in the family is to love that person despite their wound. And again, that is like maybe not having them around you day to day, maybe just checking in with them once a month or once even a year if that's all that is possible. Maybe just doing text, maybe just doing email. I don't know. It's different for everybody. It depends on the degree of narcissism. But something, in whatever way you deal with that, the clarity around that, it could be this coming in. The reason I'm saying that, we've got connection there and we've got love coming in. And the thing is, with this, I probably should just say, shouldn't I? Because I just start the video and start talking. this video is for anybody who's on a divine path towards love. So that's towards becoming whole in their own right. So like a self-sustaining individual unit that is based in freedom and non-judgmental, unconditional love for self and for others. And this is also a completion, you know, when you're talking about completion on divine path, it is clearing absolutely everything on the path that is a barrier to that kind of love. So it's clearing all triggers to being enmeshed, so feeling duty bound to be in somebody's life if they are narcissistic, clearing that. It's also clearing anything in yourself that's detrimental to your own well-being. So this is like coming into a state of complete balance within yourself. This is beyond even like just masculine and feminine, because what you have to clear here is you have to clear anything that's going to cause you to go beyond your own self, right? So it's kind of like it's a permanent invisible boundary around you that you'll be instilling on this divine path, where you are able to operate from an energy of wholeness, and that is in terms of how you live your incarnated life. So it means that once you're complete in that respect, that you can be anything in the world, that the third dimensional world, and you can operate from a fully healed frequency. And it's just that frequency that you give out that's healing for others, because it's not triggering anyone else because of maybe your narcissistic wound. Because again, the reason I'm talking about narcissism is a lot of people on divine path, I have to say all people really, will go through stages of dealing with narcissism, because that is dark energy. Narcissism is dark energy. There isn't really any other way to describe it when it comes through people other than narcissism. And like I said, there's many different types, labels that you can give the narcissism: cerebral, somatic, there's malignant, which is a really harmful type. There's also, empaths can have a narcissistic wound if they've been I keep wanting to use words like engineered, because this is how they talk to me now. So it's like brought up by, right, but you're engineered, right, programmed by a parental unit, is to feel a lack of self-esteem. And lack of self-esteem, when you're triggered because you feel like you're not being validated, that is actually triggering your narcissistic wound from your narcissistic parenting. So it's like even empaths can carry that narcissistic wound inside of them. It's all based around low self-esteem. So clearing that, basically, it's clarity coming in around that maybe for people. So let's pull some more of these out. I'm going to do star signs, sun signs, whatever you want to call them, in a second or two. Yeah, because everything's got to be cleared on this path. Right, I've got wisdom coming out there, the hermit. It's like you have to be in full awareness of everything that could be a barrier to love, and have cleared it all. And be ready to open your arms, basically, and accept a person with their emotional wounds. Because as soon as you incarnate, you start to you absorb other people's energies, and develop emotional wounds. It's not, there is no getting away from that. The narcissistic wound that exists in the one that you're connected to. If you're connected to one above all others, formerly known as twin flame, this is often, the triggering that's in that connection that leads to a running is coming from narcissistic wounding. It's coming from lack of self-esteem, and also that running, we could do a whole video actually on that. The running, the masculine energy, when we talk about masculine energy running, quite often that's narcissistic, rage. So their wound gets triggered and they run away because they're feeling narcissistic rage. but they don't want to display it because, like I say, not all people that are carrying a narcissistic wound are malignant with that. They don't all want to hurt. They don't all want to victimize. So they have to run away instead. And because they don't like what's coming up inside of them and the way it feels, right? There are many more behaviours that come along with that, carried through generations and generations and generations until it comes to be cleared in these connections, basically, what were known as twin flame connections, is all the other symptoms and dialogues that go along with the narcissistic wounds. So there's manipulation, coercion, behaviours, garnering narcissistic supply. That can be one, but that comes through manipulation a lot of the time. If you have confusing conversations with your connected one, it can be that the reason it's confusing to you, like maybe they're saying one thing, they're doing another, is because they're actually garnering narcissistic supply from you in the early stages of these connections. And the clearing that comes about really is, they're not easy. These are not easy connections when they're in the third dimension. When you see them in higher dimension, they are pure and clear of all this emotional abuse. But in the physical, because they're actually here and they're engineered to clear that abuse will come up. So it does make itself visible on a third dimensional level for the reason of clearing it. That's another thing that these connections are for. They're for clearing the whole generation of abuse, generations that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation within family units, because that's where we're at right now. We are clearing the dark energy. I've spoken about that before, so it's about clearing narcissism from all timelines, basically. Once you clear it, through this awareness and understanding of it, where the love still remains, right? So it's like you can love somebody even though they've got this narcissistic wound, but like I say, you can't maybe have them near you because it's not healthy for you. Even that is a form of clearing, just feeling love still instead of being triggered yourself and activating your own wound by the way they treat you, and then, wanting to attack back or wanting to call them out on it. Because the other thing is with this narcissism that's coming up to be cleared in all of us is for those that are not on the same path as you, so they don't have a connected other that when they come together they're going to operate as a full unit, which is going to activate a clearing like a portal, right? Somewhere in the world, when you come together with your connected other, you're going to be based somewhere in the world and it acts as a portal, and that brings in light. Okay, so your grid point in yourselves together, right? But like I say, you can't act as that grid point, that portal, until everything's cleared. So when you're clearing all this shit, right, all this narcissism through others, it's got to be, it is kind of like forgiveness, basically, and letting go. And there's a lot of emotion that might come up with this moon if this is what you're dealing with, because it is what's coming up right now for the collective, this clearing of the narcissistic wound. And it's very emotional if you've realised that you've been being triggered by someone in your family because they are carrying that wound, despite the fact that you might love that person very much, and maybe they're not a malignant narcissist, maybe they're not even aware of their own behaviours. And for some people that aren't on this path, like I was saying, where they're going to connect with another one, they can never come into, part of the emotional damage of narcissism is that they can't actually see that they have a wound. They can't see their own issues. They're not able to grow and coming to an understanding, because it would cause them too much damage emotionally for them to face this inside themselves, and they're not strong enough because they have been wounded. So it can be very, very an emotional experience, this clearing of this wound within families. That's what we've got going on right now. What else have we got? Yeah, we've got Ten of Cups in the middle. That's clearing, completion of family scenarios. Ten's completion anyway. Ten of Cups relationships, home and family as well. You know, that kind of thing. So that's what's coming up. We've got Strength next to it. And it's about becoming stronger in the face of all of this, because the strength is what comes once you've cleared things and you're able to operate without feeling burdened by it, basically. The clarity unburdens you. Three of Pentacles, which is growth, which is self-growth as well, through understanding this. Five of Cups, that's a significant other that's not forgotten, basically. King of Cups, that's masculine energy coming forward in love, going with the flow. And then we've got the Tower, which is an ending. So endings coming around with this eclipse as well. So it is that ending of timelines of mystery, basically. And Page of Wands, so being led by spirit. Collapsing confusion around relationships and what's caused the pain is what you're faced with here. Wisdom and the Five of Cups. Five of Cups, could be any relationship really. Clearing through wisdom. And before love can come forward, you have to have an ending. So it's like, what happens when you're on this path as well is that you have to go back a lot of the time and clear up, like I say, through other relationships, significant other relationships in your family unit. And of course that's all meant to be, you're meant to go back and clear that, but it's kind of like you can't go forward into love that's healthy until you've cleared up everything around the past as well. And this right now with these eclipses, and between these eclipses, there's a huge time for that. It's like a portal for that, like walking through and releasing, witnessing. You witness, you come in awareness of, you release, and then you heal. And those are the things you do. So you just heal through the awareness, right? It's not a long extended period of having to like do Reiki on yourself or get someone to magic it all away, because that doesn't work. It's the awareness, and then the letting go, and which is the forgiveness, and that in fact is the healing. That's all it is, and that's quite a simple procedure really. It just takes you kind of operating from your highest timeline yourself. You know, you are allowed to feel love for someone no matter what their emotional wound is. You know, you don't have to always shut people out and lock them out and say, oh, they're a bad person, I don't want them around me. Unless you feel that is going to be the only thing that is possible in that scenario. And even then you can still do that and still allow yourself to love their soul for the lessons they've brought you in this lifetime. So there might even be that coming in for some people. Depending on, you know, whatever type of wound they're carrying, whatever harmful, or not harmful, not so harmful aspect of narcissism they're carrying and delivering and obtaining their narcissistic supply through. So that's kind of what we've got going on generally right now. So it's a very emotional time at the moment. A lot of emotions coming up, all emotions coming up to be cleared and bring you back into a state of balance. It's like being allowed to see through as well. A lot of this as well, if you're connected to someone, it's going to be because whatever wound it is that you're being witnessing in a family member is going to be the same that your connected one has. So it means that when they come in, you will then know what it is that caused all that triggering with you and them in the first place. You will know what they're operating from in terms of their own abuse that they've been through, emotional abuse that they've been through, their own harm. I mean, it's all self-esteem, It's all harming self-esteem that causes the problems. And then it gets hidden and buried. And it comes out in... That is a narcissistic wound. It's having your self-esteem damaged and then hiding that damage from yourself. And so it comes out unconsciously in behaviours to try and heal it, but it hurts other people as it's being tried to be healed, and the one that's releasing it unconsciously in these negative behaviours. There's a lot of it's all head in the sand, it's all hiding in other relationships as well. Very often with other narcissists who aren't acknowledging their wound either. That can go on until, of course, that becomes too painful, and then that has to end as well, because those connections can't continue forever. And you can have a highly empathic person that you're connected to that has got a narcissistic wound, like I say, and they're trying to hide that, trying to basically bolster their own ego, feel better through attaching to someone who also appears to feel better, but appearing to feel better, grandiose maybe in behaviour and attitude, is not healed. It's grandiose narcissism. Right. I digress. Right, let's start with the sun signs. So it's Cancer, I believe. It's Leo at the end of the month. It's Cancer right now, isn't it? So start with Cancer first. We've got Ace of Cups underneath, which is big love, unconditional love. Let's see what else comes up. So I've got time of contemplation, internalising as well for Cancer. So it's going to be internalising, reflection. I think that probably is for everybody right now, with what's going on. Reflecting on emotional states. Seven of Cups. Got Four of Swords, Seven of Cups. So Four of Swords is the mind, Seven of Cups is the emotions. And they're both cards of searching. So searching inside oneself for understanding. Seven is lessons, so understanding with that. And the Emperor coming out, and the Emperor is masculine energy. It's controlling. It's also the card of the narcissist, because the Emperor is very controlling in his lowest aspect. He's a 4, he doesn't move, he likes to be in control, and he likes to be the one that's calling all the shots. So this can be, for Cancer, we've got some kind of internal search around meaning, around somebody who's delivering this attitude to them in the physical world, definitely searching for an understanding of somebody's behaviour, maybe, because Seven of Cups is also confusion, and the Emperor doesn't move, right? So this is the Emperor is somebody who will put on a front and present a front, right, and say, this is who I am. This is what you see is what you get. This is who I am. There isn't anything else. Don't question me. Can't be questioned, right? But the thing is, that's not the truth, right? It's underneath that, there's more to him than meets the eye. So, but you can't find it out, because he won't say what it is, and he won't tell you that there is anything else. And it's a form of control. You have to believe what I'm telling you. Believe what you see. Do what I do. Do what I say. Don't do what I do. You know, it's like says one thing, does another, but won't be questioned on it. But you've got a lot of questioning going on there. So let's pull one more, Cancer. Oh, and King of Wands as well. So this could be two men. We could be looking at one man here. We could be looking at the father. We could be looking at this in relation to another man. So say one leaving, one coming in. You know, as your father goes out, another man comes in. They're both the same. You're looking for answers based on your relationship with both. So it could definitely be that for Cancer. But a lot of internalising this month around masculine energy, what it means to you, what, you know, what that could also be what that aspect inside you is. You know, maybe you're searching for that inside yourself. We could be looking at also harnessing some ego, as both these cards are cards of the ego, you know, or looking for clarity around ego, what ego is, you know, and if it is in fact detrimental to you to display that, maybe, or become that. Let's see what else we've got. I mean, it's just, you know, looking at it energetically, because obviously everybody has different third dimensional scenarios going on that aren't going to be the same. Leo, I've got 10 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. So you've got completion and a new beginning, and we've got the truth coming out. And again, we've got masculine energy. So, you know, this could be you reaching an understanding around your own family unit that enables you to begin again. I mean, these divine pathway that leads you to reconnect with another in the physical world who's also clearing layers and layers and layers of abuse that have gone on through generations and generations of people within the same soul group, family unit, and collectively on top of all that. Once they're cleared, you come back together and there is truth. But the thing is, the truth can be, this is who I am, and, you know, these are the emotional issues. Maybe they'll be ready to address them next time around. It doesn't mean, once everything's cleared, doesn't mean that the emotional loopholes are all cleared. It just means that the awareness is there. The things still have to be dealt with. But that's what a new beginning is about. So you've got a completion and a new beginning, and you've got the truth coming in the King of Swords. 10 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. Masculine energy coming through. We've got delivering information in there as well. Acknowledgement, reaching out, and anything else. Wanting to talk. There is a lot of clear energy in that, in these cards as well. So it's kind of like there's an energy of starting again. Well, there would be with the Ace of Pentacles, starting again, and ready to talk, I would say. Somebody coming through ready to talk this month. Ready to get all the cards on the table. Prepared to do that. Let's see what else we've got for... should I have one more for Leo? Oh yeah, Ace of Swords, there you go. So definitely communication this month with some significant other. It might not be the connected one, it could be another masculine energy ready to deliver clarity to you, but you've got clarity coming as well through somebody. All right, so who's next? Virgo. So we've got strength, movement, and the Sun. So this is, again, completion with the Sun. This is something that's been overcome recently in these cards, and that you're now ready to move on to a next stage, basically. So it seems to me the clarity's already come for Virgos. Around a family member, perhaps a sibling, and this leads to clarity, again, around relationship, emotional wounding, emotional abuse, maybe that's been passed down, and a clear road ahead, basically. That's what they're saying. So something's coming towards you now, something new. It's there on the horizon. And one more card. What we're going to say about that, because we've got the moon coming out, you see, and the moon's coming up, but also the moon is like it's like something's that it's like King Kong, you know what I mean? It's like you're in a boat and you're sailing along and you're going to hit upon that island, but it's still a mystery at the moment. So it's kind of like you have clarity on one thing that leads to inner strength, but then you've got something else coming that you can't see yet and you don't know what it is yet, but it's something that you're going to be more ready for than you were before. So that's all I can really say about that, although I can't say what it is that's coming. But it's profound and it's important. Also, it's not going to be something that you thought it was going to be. So this is like you've thought something was going to be one way for a long, long time, maybe, and you had built up expectations, scenarios in your mind. You thought you had it all like worked out, maybe, what was coming in for you. That it's going to be very different than you thought it was. And that's not to say it's going to be bad necessarily, but it's not going to be this energy here that's really like low key, not dramatic, not exciting, not upbeat, just a kind of calming, reassuring, slow. So take it slow, whatever it is that's coming in. Don't go jump into conclusions. Slow energy, slow healing, basically, through just like acceptance, right? And allowing things to kind of slowly become what they're going to become, and not what you thought they were going to become, or what you want them to become, or what you expected them to become. Just what they're going to become, if you see what I mean. So that's Virgo. And we've got Libra. So you've got clarity as well, because you've got things that didn't work out for you, and then we've got the wisdom coming in, and that's around a woman. So we've got feminine energy there. So this is you understanding either your own feminine side, or a woman that you've known, or that you do know. There's a bit of a disconnect. So there's been a lot of growth since you knew this person, perhaps, inside of you. So maybe we could be looking at you facing some of your old behaviours, facing your old self, letting part of your old self go. Or we could be looking at you encountering an aspect of yourself in somebody else, a feminine aspect in somebody else, that leads you to more understanding as well. Let's have one more for Libra. Fast energy moving through. So it's cleared, something's cleared here as well. What's been cleared is all reasons why not, basically. You've got good times ahead of you, these are saying. So it's like you've cleared a way for the future to come in as well. Recently, I would say something's been cleared. And I don't think there's any going back. Let me have one more card. Yeah, we've got an ending in the Tower. So it's like some kind of major ending you've been through. And it means there's no road back now. You can only go forward with what you've understood. That's what it's saying for Libra. This woman here, you could be going forward towards a woman as well. Going forward, a woman. For some Libras, I'm getting like this moment of understanding that's come, that's cleared away all this confusion and misunderstanding around the past, and also a lot of pain, which is just providing a clear road forward, basically. So that's what Libra is. It could be very fast as well, moving forward very quickly. I get the Libra moving forward. I don't get someone coming towards the Libra. No. But then when the energy clears, like it is in this, it could be an accidental meeting as well. Because if the energy says it's time, then it will be time. So it's not necessarily any person going forward making a move. It's just the two come together automatically. So that's what we've got for Libra. Scorpio. Process. So the Hangman, which is process. 3 of Cups for happiness. And the Magician, which is higher self of masculine energy. And it's also spark of creation as well with the Magician. It's number 1. So it's like having all the tools that are needed for you to complete a process. So you're going to get some kind of intuition, maybe at this eclipse, some like moment of clarity as well, moment of completion. 1 is completion, process, Hanged Man, so completion of a process leads to more happiness and joy within yourself, freedom, understanding of yourself, lightening of the burden as well, burdens that you might have been carrying for others, for yourself. So there's a lot of release going on here. Release. It's like suddenly the weight is lifted. All right, so potential for growth. You've got a lot of potential in these cards. So you get an get out of jail free card this month, basically. Scorpio, I feel, or this month. I'm talking about the next few days actually, because the eclipse is coming up. So this is all about to hit. 1 more for Scorpio. Cycle complete. So very definitely you have got a get out of jail free card coming up. You're going to have something lifted away from you. Those that are in connection with someone else that are watching this, this journey, although it appears in the physical world that you're not connected to somebody, can look like anything but that, right? To the naked eye. And it can just look like, from a third dimensional perspective, a lot of abuse going on from one person to another, and all these people that are just living through lower dimensional timelines screaming, just get away from them. But you can't, because you're energetically connected, so it's like they completely misunderstand it. But what actually happens in these connections is that the connection itself, all the work that comes in for you on your path in the third dimension, so in your physical existence, your incarnate existence, is delivered through the higher self of the masculine energy. So it's that person that you're connected to, it's their higher self that is delivering you everything that you need to clear on this journey. So like all the purging that comes in, all the life situations, it's all organised, engineered through this connection, higher self of the masculine energy, which is the Magician card, which brings that in when you're ready for it. There can be, what we've got here in the Hangman, extended periods of like purging or going down into the depths to like process. When you energetically process, it means that you are processing your emotional self, your mental self, because that all it starts with your energetic self, but you're unconscious of that, a lot of the time. What it comes through that you are conscious of is your thoughts and your feelings, and you can be aware of those. So the process of you having negative thoughts is a process of clearing. The process of you feeling negative emotions is a process of clearing. Sometimes these periods of clearing can go on extensively as you dig around in the depths of your psyche and your soul for things that need to be cleared, because clearing is what the journey is all about. It's not what it looks like on the surface. It's not an abusive relationship, and it is not romance. It is a clearing process. So that clearing will go on, and when it does, and you release into higher energy, which is happiness, which you've got there, the sense of freedom, right? It's the end of a cycle. So that's what you've got coming in, basically. You've got the reward after the purge, looks like there, for Scorpios. So, but Scorpios are very, very much ruled by the moon also, because they're water signs, so that would make sense that they're going to be, maybe you've been like worried about something, or, hanging on to something. Maybe you've been thinking some things, because what will happen is with this clearing, right, it'll be something inside you that you won't have clarity on, and because you don't have the clarity, you think it's something, it becomes really important, right? Really important. What it seems like when you're worrying about something, and it's like, I've got to worry about that all the time, you're just worrying about it all the time, and it seems important, is because you don't have the clarity on it. You don't understand why on a soul level it's happening to you in your physical life. But this is all guided by the masculine higher self. So this is not like you're never going to get that clarity. At some point in soul, masculine higher self is going to say, right, time is now, clarity, delivered, release. And you're unburdened, because suddenly you're like, ping, oh, wow, that's what it is. So I don't need to worry about that anymore. And that is what's going on there. Right. And we've got Sagittarius. I'm going to get one more out, hang on. Right. For Sagittarius, I feel like there's something going on. I don't know what. So many times I get with Sagittarius is something about the mother. I have no idea why that is, but they're saying it yet again. It's like I've got this energy of you being tied in some way to your mother. And you're looking at the relationship with your mother and wondering about that. And, this is where the clarity is coming for you. And I've got something here, head over heart. This could be the case of you're looking back and you're understanding that your mother's narcissism was not hers alone and came from somebody that delivered it to her in her childhood. And with that comes forgiveness, with you. Because I've got the Five of Pentacles, which is negativity, right? Four of Cups, which is looking at the past. Page of Cups, which is new love and childhood. And the Two of Swords, which is head over heart. And it's like, you see this love that comes in the Page of Cups. Love can't come when you have a situation of you hiding yourself from love, right? So the Two of Swords is about when you say to yourself, I can't love because I'll get hurt. I can't love because it wounds me. Right, now with this this barrier to love, right, that you create with that voice inside your head, it's a lie, because you can love, everybody can love. The Page of Cups is like childhood and it's innocence, and it's being able to love. It's like starting again and being able to love. and setting yourself free from this idea that you can't. But then we've got this past here, right? Looking at the past, looking back and being sorrowful, regretful, wistful, looking back for something that was missing in the past, perhaps. The love that wasn't there in the past. Five of Pentacles is that love that wasn't there in the past. So it's like, again, back to childhood. So it's like you're looking back at your childhood, perhaps, as well. Where was the love? Looking for clarity around that. Let's have one more. But we've got the moon there, you see, as well. So it's like clarity's coming again. Revelations are coming. Two of Wands, a choice. Two of Swords as well. This head over heart thing where you tell yourself you can't love. At the end of the day, this is a choice, right? Because that's only what you're telling yourself. You're saying, I can't because it hurts. But all you have to do is tell yourself, yes, I can. I'm strong enough. And then you will be. You see, it's mind over matter. So you use your mind to open your heart, not to close it. Because if you tell yourself you can't have love, then you'll never have love, right? Love is possible in all scenarios. Like I said right at the beginning, if the person's in your life or they're not in your life, you can still love them. It's not a being with someone. It's not an enmeshment, right? It's not someone validating you or giving you your self-esteem. It's you owning your own self-esteem and then not needing it from anyone else, in which case there's no barrier to love because you'll never be hurt. That kind of thing is a choice. The reason, I don't know what this thing here I've got as well, because although Sagittarians are ruled by fire, they're a very cerebral sign. They're very mental, they've got a lot of mental energy, they're mutable, so they're very thoughtful and, they see both sides of things. But I feel sometimes with Sagittarians they can become more like almost so rigid in their thinking. Sometimes it's like they can make their mind up and then they can be, that's that, and I've made my mind up and that's all I'm doing and I'm not doing anything else and that's my decision and I'm not going back on it. But here you see you've got going back. So if you made your mind up, I can't love, or I'm not loving that person, I'm not going to allow myself to feel love for that person because they didn't give me any love, then I would say you might want to. I can't tell people what to do, only say what you could do is reflect on that decisions, and free yourself of what you've imprisoned yourself with that thought, because if you're saying that, if that's a decision you've made around something from the past, then where's this new love going to come in? You have to free yourself from that idea. And it doesn't matter that you said once that, oh, okay, that's it, I'm sticking to it. You can change your mind. Nobody says we can't change our minds, or we have to be so rigid with ourselves that we don't allow. That's not loving yourself. You've got to free yourself. You change your mind as many times as you like about whatever you like. That's what the new energy is. That is what love is. Okay? That it doesn't come from the mind, it comes from the heart. That's Sagittarius. Capricorn. Seven of Pentacles. Let me just move those out of the way. I might have to use them again in a minute anyway. Seven of Pentacles. Five of Swords. Six of Wands. So you're getting the break as well with this moon. It's like you've been through something and you've received the clarity as well. And you get to sit back, I feel, and just sit it out this month, so you're not going to be adversely affected. There's like a battle going on it might be going on around you actually. So maybe it's in other people and you're just getting to witness it at this time. Maybe you're seeing somebody else who's like, you know, got someone else in your life who's going through a rough time, or they're going through like ups and downs emotionally. But I get that you're not the one that's having to go through that, and that you're getting to just maybe witness somebody else doing it. So another, and I get you being a helper to that, like you're assisting in some way. Transformation. I'm getting a lot of like intelligence coming through, you know, like intelligent thought forms coming through. So you're transforming your thoughts from dark to light. So I've got 6 of Wands here, which is about success. So it's, again, I'm feeling like it's not it's not touching the sides as it comes through. So you're kind of like, oh, I know this is a negative thought I'm having, something like that, and I'm not going to let it drag me down, because I don't want to be in that space. Let me have one more. And then we've got a man as well. When you get when it gets close to like this, these connected energies coming together, right, in the physical sense, it's like a portal opens up for those two individuals. So the energy that's around them changes, comes like a bit of a vortex. And I get that this is what you've got here as well. So it's kind of like, you know, you bring through your own physical connection through the energy itself. So it's like when you've cleared everything and you're able to hold your energy stable amidst all confusion and chaos and all the changes that go on in your life and all the periods of dark that come over you that you've witnessed that try to transform you into dark permanently, but you have to like rise from, come back into the light from. And as you go through this journey and you clear all that shit, right, and you're able to hold your light within the darkness, this kind of creates a portal for the connection to come through in the physical. The connections aren't guided by the physical, you see, they're guided energetically. So it's got nothing to do with what actually goes on in the physical world, apart from you holding your energy stable amidst chaos and confusion and changes. That's kind of what it is. And I've got that here, right? Because I've got changes in the 7 of Pentacles and the physical world and lessons, and also, although the 7 of Pentacles is like there's movement there because it's changes, it's also, it's a card of something coming, right? Something coming. 5 of Swords is dark and light, and it's a battle. Death, transformation of dark to light. 6 of Wands, which is success of that process. And King of Pentacles, which is a physical person, a man. So you bring through your own physical reunion, basically, through your energy, strength of mind, and strength of heart. So that's what I've got for Capricorn. So possible portal for a reconciliation. There are all possible portals for that, I would say, but that looks like more possible than the other possibles. What's next? Aquarius. 9 of Pentacles and the Lovers. One more. Knight of Pentacles. Aquarius. So we've got a lot of strength, individual strength, completion, feminine energy. Lover's connection as well. Harmony and balance. Purity. Synchronicity. The Lovers here really stands for like Lemuria, so it's like back to soul self, basically. And that is the healing as well. You see Knight of Pentacles healing in the physical world. So Nine of Pentacles woman is completion of the feminine energy in the physical world. It's not what everybody thinks it is either, because I remember a long time ago when I did one of these readings, somebody made a comment. I'm not saying a comment was wrong, I'm going to go at that person or anything. I'm just saying, because when I saw it, when I see something right and I know that's not quite right, it gets me wondering around it. And I think, why do I feel that's not quite right? What is it? What am I being told? Do you see what I mean? And they put a comment and they said, all she's lacking there is a person, right? The next is her connected one, and that makes her complete. And I looked at it and I thought, that's a really nice comment because it makes sense, but I thought it's not right. It doesn't feel right. That's not what the completion is. It's not the other person, because she's got to be complete on her own. The completion is, right, it can be like you suddenly are a master of your physical realm, as in you're operating from a frequency that is not taking on board any of the lies of the third dimension. So you're understanding that this is just an illusion, that it's not real, that your soul is just portraying yourself as so-and-so, living through this incarnate life to go through certain lessons, or if you're on this journey, to go through all the lessons that will lead you into a reconciliation so that you can be a conjoined physical apparition of that energy, right? Not just with somebody, but the energies being brought together by your physical. So it's what happens through the energy once you're physically connected, not what your physical life is once you're connected. So it's not a relationship that is the completion. What is the completion is it's like your soul's going back to their original state. And the original state is when you are energetically connected as one, right? It's when you've merged completely energetically and you're not, sorry, it's my fan, I've got the fan. That's the completion, basically. And that's what the Lover's card is. So it's an energetic state of being, it's a completion. It's not a physical relationship. So it's a very different thing, you can see. And that's actually the healing, because when the two souls are energetically completely merged again, that's when they no longer feel any of the physical pain, any of the pain that comes through your incarnate physical existence to do with love. You know, it's like when you're at the early stages of this journey and you feel a lot of pain through love. So you know, it's like, I'm not with that person and it's causing me pain, or I wasn't loved as a child and it's causing me pain, or this person in my family unit is this and it's causing me pain, right? So everything causes pain in your physical life. And when you're complete, nothing causes you pain anymore, because you've become aware of it all inside yourself, right? And it's like, as you harmonise that, the one that you're connected to harmonises through you doing that work, and then they're harmonised, and then you're both harmonised together. So there's no pain anymore that can be felt. So if they were to then come into your life in a physical sense, whatever that brought with it in a range of issues, codependent behaviours, passive aggressiveness, narcissistic wounding, manipulation, controlling behaviours, anything that was a remnant of anything that's been cleared will not be a barrier to love. Do you see what I mean? And that's the healing. So the healing occurs energetically, not through you physically coming together. And this like last part, right, so the Nine of Pentacles is almost complete. 10 would be complete. The last one is the longest one. So these 9 parts of the journey, moments of understanding, clarity, release, whatever, forgiveness, coming into power, operating from, you know, having healthy boundaries and all the other stuff that you go through. Can be short bursts, some can be longer bursts. But the last one is the longest, I would say. But you've got it here though. Let's have one more. So either Aquarius, you are about to enter the state of complete and utter harmony energetically with your connected other, or you're about to start the process of the last stage of completion of the essence. Right, so either one of those. Let's have a look. Ooh. And then we've got Queen of Swords coming out. They want that one as well, don't they? And Nine of Cups. So we've got happiness there. That's nearly completion. And Queen of Swords, which is, well, she's quite a bossy woman actually, and she just won't take anything but the truth. So she knows the truth as well. It's like that woman that's always right. And that's part of the Nine of Pentacles woman as well. It's like the wool can't be pulled over her eyes anymore about anything. Because half of this journey is the low self-esteem that allows the false belief that you don't know anything, or that you don't, you know, it's like you read between the lines on this journey. It's all about reading between the lines, and that is the truth. But of course, if you look at it from the naked eye, the third dimensional eye, it would appear that you know nothing, because it's all between the lines. It's all energetic. It's not what's occurring in the physical world. Also, that pain is healed by your energy becoming one with what is between the lines, right? So the truth that's hidden, and that leads to happiness, because that's also part of the clearing process. Just get one more out on this because it's quite interesting. Hierophant. Physical relationship, basically. Changes that lead to a physical relationship. I get for some Aquarians out there, they're going to be stating something quite important this month to do with their own happiness. Like telling someone something. And that's also part of the plan. Speaking up and stating, you know, actually, that doesn't make me happy, so I'm not having that in my life. It doesn't matter what it's about, it's just the fact that you need to state it. And that's part of what the job is, of changing the frequency of the planet to one of happiness and freedom and joy. Who's next? Pisces. Got Queen of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, and one more, Page of Pentacles. So Pisces, I'm getting you just having to kind of bide your time at the moment. It appears like your work's not done. You have got work in the present moment. So that again, what you do in the physical world you might be being asked by your guides to like sit back and maintain your equilibrium. Maybe you feel a bit stuck, but if you do, you've got to understand that you're never stuck, right? You're always meant to be exactly where you are, and sometimes they will keep you. It's like they hold you back, or it feels like you're being held back, but they're trying to align things for you, or they're just aligning things for you until the next lesson is ready to come in. You've got lesson in the Page of Pentacles. So it can be quite, don't stress, all right, that nothing's going on as well. Because if nothing's going on, use it to take a break from things that are stressful going on. Right? Just go with the flow around it and know that, you'll have new lessons coming in. They're here. But don't take advantage, right, of the break. Don't see it as being stuck or feeling stuck. See it as a break. and take advantage of it, right? So look after yourself, rest, recuperate, do something nice for yourself. The work, when you're on an energetic journey, is not about working hard physically all the time. The work is about looking after yourself. Judgment. Yeah, it's like everything's out of your hands this month. Or this, at this time, it's out of your hands. So whatever, you pushing and trying to attempt to manipulate your physical world by, doing anything, it's not going to get you where you're going, because you've got destiny coming. Destiny only comes from you kind of stepping back and letting the physical world manifest as you become energetically one with your energetic self and live through that instead of your manifest self. Does that make sense? Let's have one more. And sometimes the only work you've got to do is to maintain your equilibrium. And when you're maintaining your equilibrium, it means that you're going to be challenged to notice what your equilibrium is. Because you can't maintain it until you understand when you're going from high to low or dark to light. So we've got a lot of witnessing your own process at the moment for Pisces, I would say. Who's next? Pisces. Got Aquarius, got Pisces, and then it's Aries. Got 4 of Wands, 10 of Swords, and 10 of Wands. You've got a lot of completion going on. Completion around home, family matters, ending of timelines, karma, invisible links being tied up. So one more. Masculine and feminine energy. So you have got a lot of movement going on, but I feel like the movement that you've got going on is timelines collapsing, energetically collapsing. Again, home and family. You're like your genetic imprint basically being cleared up. Let's have one more. Love. Again, you've got something coming. You've got finalisation of a masculine and feminine energy. So it's like you've got the masculine and feminine energies working together to finalise these timelines. Swift movement. So I would say by the end of July, you'll have gone through some kind of significant change. The change could be, again, a moment of understanding. It could be, it's like a moment of recognition, all right, that you're going to see something for what it is. It's in another, seeing something in another person, seeing something for what it is. Maybe you're going to see a relationship dynamic where it's out of balance, and understand where that came from. You're going to see through the illusion, right? It's what I've got there. And something more. Sorry. And then you get rebirth. So, yeah, finalising something's you're going to see through something. What's that home and family about? Hang on. Okay. This goes further than home and family, right? This goes back further than that. Now, you see, your home and family is not what you think it is, basically. It feels like you've kind of incarnated for a reason, right, within a family group to help clear the genetic imprint. So this negativity we're looking at again, probably. So that's the only reason you've incarnated into that family group. It's not that you are actually, you're not the same as them. You're not the same. You are the one that sees through, just sees through it, that sees what's going on there, right, in that family unit. And that, just that process of you seeing through it and being the witness to that is what releases that genetic imprint, which means that that family unit, what did keep repeating through generations, no longer repeats, and the love can come in. So it's like happiness and for all that come next, really. And that's job done, right? That's part of your work here. When that work's done, then you get rebirth. So it's like your work, incarnating into that family unit, being witness to everything that goes on, not being like the others, perhaps. You're not like them, right? They're all different to you. They've all got something that you haven't. They've all got some kind of emotional wound that you haven't, perhaps, something like that, or a way of thinking or a way of behaving, and you're the only one maybe you're the only empath, something like that. And you being the witness to it, you're the one that releases it. Because all release has to come through forgiveness, so you'll be the one that forgives it. And I don't mean you say to everybody, I forgive you. You just forgive it, like inside yourself, right? You come to an understanding of it, and you still love, and that's what's needed to release it. It ends everything energetically, and then you get to move on, you see, and you get to do something else. You get a rebirth in some other way. So I've got a finalisation for you this month, Aries, energetically. That is, it could be physically as well. It could be like, you're then moving on in a physical sense as well. Moving on, but with not with sadness or with grief, more with kind of like an open heart. Who's next? Taurus. Three of Pentacles, High Priestess, Page of Swords, growth, intuition, and lessons and messages. So that's what you've got coming out. It's time to create. It's time to soothe yourself with creation. Let yourself dream, let yourself imagine as well. Use your imagination creatively. Get in tune with your higher self. Maybe do some meditation or get out your tarot cards and start using those. Whatever other means that you've got connecting in. You might want to take some lessons or courses in developing your psychic abilities. It's a good time for that. And developing your intuition, if you're so, that's also signified here. And one more. Oh, yeah. You are highly aligned with your higher self this month. So definitely a good time for that. In fact, I would say that it's what you're meant to do this month, because you've got your guides here, you see, as well, wanting to deliver you information through in any intuitive means available. Painting, drawing can help you to develop your third eye. So that's what's signified there as well. Anything else? Ace of Cups. That's your work this month, or what is coming up with this eclipse. That's your work to develop your psychic abilities. That's what they're saying. In whatever way you can. Right, and don't start questioning it, and don't start to, talk yourself out of it, and don't start to try to pretend you don't know how to do this. Because you do. It's just lying dormant inside of you, all right? That's the thing. It's lying dormant inside of you, and it's saying here it's time to bring it out. So it's not about whether you can or you can't, or, or I'll never be able to do that, that's what other people do. It's not that. It's inside of you, and you need to activate it. So you've got to love yourself, right? Love and accept yourself. Let go. Let go of any barriers to that, and start to focus on your internal being. So less of the worry and the shame and the guilt, and more of the using your mind to create through your imagination. Some more daydreaming about nice things, creating scenarios in your head, pictures in your head. You start to use pictures in your head. That is using your third eye, and that is where the information comes from. So it's like you create in your head, and then you let go of that. You shut your eyes, let yourself drift off, and maybe something pops into your head, and you see it. And that is in fact clairvoyance. That's all it is. It's as simple as that. It's not like something that you need to go and get a certificate for, off Doreen Virtue or anybody else. It's lying dormant inside all of us that aren't using it. Right? It's innate in everybody. This is what they want you to do. Because they need it. There's love there, right? Channeling through love is what they're saying. You've got to channel through love. Not go to other people anymore and ask them to channel through for you, but do it yourself. Become a leader, not a seeker. What else have we got? Who else? Gemini. Curious. Right, I'm going to need one more. Right, so what we've got here, right, we've got the King of Cups. This is masculine energy going with the flow. As you know, the masculine energy guides from behind the scenes. So it's not all it appears to be, the journey that you're on when you're connecting back in, or connecting in with a connected other. However, we've got masculine energy going with the flow, right? We've got the feminine energy being grounded and stable. And then we've got a change being facilitated through that. So that is clearly saying that your stability, at this time, is going to lead to changes. Well, if you're connected to another one and you're working together, and you always are, and that's why you're here, that's what the energy's doing, that's why you incarnate, is that your stability guides the masculine energy. So the feminine stability guides the masculine energy to go with the flow in the physical realm. So it means they will follow their heart. And that is the change that's facilitated. So you got that right. And then you've got the masculine energy again down here. You've got the Nine of Wands coming out. That is the dark night of the soul of the masculine energy. And it's a 9 again, so it's near completion. Well, it's always near completion, because the whole journey is the dark night of the soul. And only after that, what comes after that is the end of that journey. Right, but there's no longer any barrier to reconciliation. Right, you've also got Nine of Swords of the feminine dark night of the soul. So this is two individuals nearing the end of a journey. But as we've got here, it's always the feminine energies, composure in the physical realm, that assists the masculine energy to go with the flow in the physical realm. So let's have another on this one over here. Energetic connection. So it appears like you're going through, what you're going through right now is exactly what they're going through as well, because that's another thing about this journey. You'd be surprised at how much even the incarnated aspects of life are the same in each individual, because they have to go through the same things. So I think this is very good, actually. I'm liking this. Two ending of Dark Night of the Soul in connection, change. Let me have another look over here. Ace of Wands. Right. And another over here. Seven of Swords. Okay. Don't let your fears take control. Remember, the feminine leads the process. So it's down to you to not let your fears get control of you. Because if you let your fears get control of you, the fears get control of your connected other. And the journey just becomes an extended journey. You know, there is so much that goes on in these connected scenarios, right? There's a part that you can see with the naked eye in the physical realm, and that part has got its own limitations and barriers to the kind of to be released, right? Because it's all the misconceptions around what it is in the physical realm. It's like, oh, I want that person. That's a relationship for me. That's what's, and that's not what it is, right? So there's all that, and that's all limitation. And then there's also your own energetic journey away from all your wounding that you've experienced, right? And all your coming into awareness of yourself and who you are beyond all that wounding. That's part of the journey as well. And then there's also the fact that you're connected to another who you're kind of like pulling along on a string behind you as you move through your journey and rise above it. You're pulling them out of the pit as well. So there's that's going on. And you're pulling them to, what you're doing is you're pulling them towards following their heart as you follow your own heart. And as the journey kind of goes on, it becomes less about the physical misinterpretation of, oh, that's the person I want to be in a relationship with. And it becomes more an awareness of whatever it is that you're fearful of that prevents you from following your own heart, that leads you into freedom and unconditional love for yourself. Because you can't, first of all, when you do actually eventually have a relationship in the physical world with that person, it won't be anything like what you thought it was going to be anyway. It will be completely different because you're going to be completely different to who you were when you started your journey, and so are they. So that's another thing, right? But you don't even know that at the beginning, and even at the end, by the time you get to the end, it's become everything else about it rather than that relationship that you wanted in the first place. And it's become about transcending fear, and any fear that is a barrier to your own liberation from dark energy, right? Because all fear is darker energy that drags you down into a pit of grief and self-destruction and all the other things that lurk under the bed or in the cupboard, right? at the end of the journey, it's your will that comes into play, because your will has to become a part of who you are, right? So you're led into becoming a stronger, stable individual in the physical realm through all the challenges you go through all the emotional abuse that you survive from and then thrive from. And by the time you've become that balanced and composed individual, you are definitely not the person you were when you started. And that's the end of your dark night of the soul. You change, transform. Some people might want to call that a walk-in experience, but it's not. If you can remember your childhood, it's not a walk-in experience. You're still the same person you were. You just change dramatically to become someone who's different than the person you started out as. It's like you split as well. You can split. You can become... you have one person that, your higher self and your lower self. You can split, you can have your higher self, your lower self, your inner child. The overseer, I like to call it. And actually, there's something about the overcomers, I think, in one of the books of the Bible that talks about the 144, which is the overcomers are those that overcome the dark. And I do believe you can only become an overcomer if you become an overseer of yourself, which again is the ending of the dark night of the soul. And that's overcoming fear, you see. Overcoming all fears. They're a barrier. So that's what you've got over there. That's why I just went into that, right? So this seems to be what's happening for you. Right? It's time to overcome your fears and finally get a hold of use your will, like I say, because the strength is using your will. So it's actually when you feel yourself get up in the morning and you aren't feeling great, and maybe you're feeling a bit negative or depressed, it's witnessing that in yourself, right? And it's using your willpower to overcome it. So it's waking up, and when you feel a bit like, oh God, here we go, it's saying, no, there's no reason for me to feel like that. I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to feel good today. I'm going to get on with my life. I'm going to find out what needs to be done in the physical realm. I'm going to get on with that. I'm going to, think positively and all this kind of stuff. And this all comes in. It's right at the end. It's right at the end, which is that, right at the end. Because that is you finally using your will in the way that the will should be used, which is to overcome fear and not allow yourself to drop down into negative vibration and to become one with the fear. Become fear. Because if you become fear, not because of this, all right? But also, if you become fear, he becomes fear. But at the end of the journey, it's not about you doing it for anybody else. You've got to do it for yourself. And the fact is that when it's got to that part where you are doing it for yourself and you're using your will because you will thrive and not just survive, then you are complete, right? It's not about anybody else, it's just about you. And when it becomes just about you, it becomes just about him. And when it becomes just about him, he exits all scenarios in his life that are a barrier to love. And that's the change, right? And you've got potential coming out. So you've got potential for that. But it's about acknowledging this card, look. It's acknowledging the fears, acknowledging them and then not letting them take over. Right? Not letting anything get you down, basically, is what that's about. So that is what it is for Gemini this month. So I think that's everybody. I'll pull a few more cards now, see if there's anything else that we need to understand. But it's important times right now. It is very, this eclipse energy, it comes in, the most unexpected ways. The clarity comes in such unexpected ways. It can deliver emotional blows, but nothing that isn't, going to be overcome, because we're the overcomers, right? And the emotional blows that are delivered are meant to be overcome. That's why they're delivered. It's the job. It's why we're here, to overcome. We're not to stay stuck in a place of healing, but to continually be overcome. Can feel like a never-ending journey, but it's not a never-ending journey. It does end. The important thing is to not get stuck on the payroll of somebody else who says they can heal you. Right? Because there's plenty out there that would say that they've got all the tools that you need to heal you. And the fact is that nothing is wrong wherever you are on the journey. Nothing is ever where it shouldn't be. The healing has to come from you going through the journey, right? And becoming witness to who you are and witnessing your own self-limiting behaviours. This is where psychology comes in, because psychology offers the tools to see them, hold them up and see them. But you can find all that out in books. You can read about it. That's what your brain is for, reading books on things that you don't know yet, basically. Not for paying some witch doctor to wave magic oils over you and tell you you're healed in the name of Archangel Michael, who isn't even an angel. He's a watcher. He's a Pleiadian. Don't get sucked in by the snake oil. This is not the Wizard of Oz. Focus on your forward motion, out of confusion, right? Not into more confusion. Follow your heart. If you follow your heart, you go stronger. Follow the challenges, right? Meet the challenges. If you meet the challenges, you grow stronger. Know that you will overcome, because that's what you're here to do. That is your soul path. That's the inevitable destination. This is destiny. It's not a will I won't I scenario. It's what you've incarnated for, so of course you will, right? And no other human is more powerful than your own energetic self. In fact, when we're talking about narcissists, the best case scenario, they're benign. Worst case scenario, there'll be a spiritual narcissist who's trying to garner supply from your energy, not heal you. So be very careful with things like that. Don't give your energy away to people that are also charging you for that. Yeah, let me give you some money so you can take all my energy from me and tell me I'm something I'm not. I've had many people that have come back to me for readings, and I've had to set the record straight, because in the meantime they've thought they've gone to someone else and check on what that person says, and they've been told all sorts of ridiculous nonsense about themselves and how they're powerless and they're they're not what they feel they are. They're powerless. This kind of stuff. A person just took their energy, whoever that was that said that to them. Do you see how it works? You are power. That is what you are. But you have to own your power, your own authenticity. Here to serve others. You're here to move through the journey and to facilitate a combined energetic source in the physical realm between two individuals, because that's what God requires. God, source energy, whatever you want to call it, highest energy. That's what it requires from you. That's why you've incarnated. So that's your job. And there's plenty and plenty of opposing energetic sources that would have that not happen, by telling you you're powerless, or that you're not what you think you are, or that you only need to be healed and they can heal you. And you haven't got a broken leg. You don't need strapping up, putting in a sling. You just need to move through day-to-day scenarios that crop up in your life and breathe through it and face it and grow as a person. That's the healing. It's your growth, self-growth. Innate wisdom is in all of us, you know. We all hold the keys to our own soul self. To our own soul understanding. It's all around us in all the signs. The whole physical realm is a massive signs and synchronicities. So everything you see, from things written on t-shirts and adverts on the TV and things that people say in TV shows or fronts of books in bookshops, it's all signs and synchronicities. The birds in the garden, the next door neighbours, everything is challenging you to come into your power, right, and rise above negativity. So don't delay with that, right? That's what you're here for. No point sitting around and saying, why am I here? All these negative things are happening to me. Why am I here? Well, you're here so you can face the negative things and overcome them. You're an overcomer, right? You're here to release yourself from the fear, right? I think I'm going to go now. Am I going to go? Is there anything else? New cycle coming up, obviously, because it's an eclipse, isn't it? So that's going to come in after the next few days. Then we get rolling again towards another one. It's a never-ending, obviously. Never-ending circus of eclipses and portals to the ultimate destiny that won't be anything like you thought it was going to be. Completely different. It'll be like when your final destiny arrives, you'll be someone like someone that wrote the book on it, basically. Right? Not somebody that's asking the questions. You'll be the person that wrote the book on it, because you know it all, because it's all inside of you. All right, I'm going now. I hope you all have a lovely eclipse, and just self-care as well. Drink loads of water, take time out, look at nature, use your imagination. Know that if you're in a period of where not a lot seems to be going on, that it's a break, because that's not going to be it forever. Things will go on, and they're only getting you ready for something. Everything that you think is like, oh, this is wrong, or I shouldn't be doing this, or is that this, and it's all just getting you ready. It's not anything that it shouldn't be. So just and I say, notice things around you that are signposting you, showing you things. Even a robin in the garden is a sign of rebirth. Even a robin pooping in the garden. Pooping is very good. That's a gift, actually. Things like that. It's like, so anyway, lots of love. Bye.